On 24 December 1999, an Indian airline flight IC-814 departed from Nepal airport for Delhi airport. There were approximately 170 to 180 passengers on board. At 7:12, as soon as the aircraft entered Indian airspace, 5 Pakistani terrorists from the terrorist group Harkat-ul-Mujahideen hijacked the plane. At that time, it was unclear where they would take the aircraft, but they instructed the pilot to fly towards Pakistan. The pilot responded that there wasn't enough fuel, so after a brief discussion, they decided to land aircraft in Amritsar to refuel and then take off again. As the passengers were under their control, they were confident that the government would be able to act. At 7:44, as per their plan, they landed the aircraft in Amritsar. But it took a lot of time, and they also suspected that the Indian government might be planning something. Then they flew the aircraft from Amritsar and reached Pakistan. When the Pakistani government didn't agree to allow the aircraft to stay, they landed it in Dubai. After refueling in Dubai on 25 December 1999, they finally landed the aircraft in Kandahar, Afghanistan. Once India learned this, the Indian government sent an officer from an Indian embassy in Islamabad, A.R. Ghanshyam, to Kandahar to coordinate with the Afghan government and collect details about the hijacking, where the plane landed, what their demands were. The terrorists requested A.R. Ghanshyam to ask the Indian government to send a team for negotiation without delay. Ghanshyam reported everything to the Indian government. The government then formed a team of 7 negotiations and deliberately included Ajit Doval in it. The first reason was that between 1971 to 1999, Ajit Doval had negotiated in more than 15 aircraft hijacking cases. Second, the Indian government fully trusted that he could handle the situation in any way. The team reached Kandahar and Ajit Doval began negotiations. The terrorists kept changing their demands, so Doval first asked them to stick to one demand, or the situation would worsen. After that, the terrorists wrote down all their demands on a piece of paper and threw it out of the aircraft. On that paper, it was written that 36 terrorists imprisoned in Indian jails should be released along with $200 million. Initially, this demand was refused outright, but the pressure on Indian government was immense. The passengers' families and the media were attacking the government from all sides. Moreover, if the government planned any operation, it would have to use Pakistan's airspace, and India did not trust Pakistan. Also, Afghans were involved, so any plan could be leaked to the hijackers. Even when they thought of eliminating the hijackers, there was strong possibility that they would blow up the entire plane, killing all passengers, so a rescue operation was not feasible. Therefore, Ajit Doval held multiple rounds of talks and convinced them to agree to release not 36 but only 3 terrorists. After the negotiation, the terrorists agreed. Doval then secured the release of 3 terrorists in exchange and handed them over to India. But it was a major blow for India. After this incident, Ajit Doval worked to further strengthen national security measures, including forming the Multi-Agency Center (MAC) and the Joint Task Force on Intelligence (JTFI). These efforts were ongoing, but since 1998, when the BJP government came to power, discussion started that Ajit Doval was closer to BJP Home Minister L.K. Advani. Advani had made Doval report directly to him. Due to this closeness, although senior officials and opposition leaders were unhappy with Ajit Doval. At the time, selection was underway for the next RAW chief, and more senior officials than Doval were in the queue. Despite this, Doval's name was strongly recommended for the post of RAW chief. His appointment was inevitable, but the last moment, due to recommended by NNSA Brijesh Mishra, it was stopped, and Doval could not become RAW chief. Not only that, more events occurred which made Congress deeply unhappy with Ajit Doval. Doval had to face consequences later. At that time, 2 major political parties existed in Kashmir: Sheikh Abdullah's National Conference and Mufti Muhammad Sayyid's Democratic National Conference. Congress also wanted to maintain its presence in Kashmir for strategic and national security reasons. Since winning in Kashmir was difficult for Congress, they convinced Mufti Muhammad Sayyid to join them, made him state party president, and later gave him a cabinet ministry position. They even promised to make him CM if Congress won. Mufti joined Congress and merged his party. He was tasked with strengthening Congress in Kashmir so that it could come to power and eventually make him CM. While this was progressing slowly, Congress suddenly allied with Sheikh Abdullah to contest elections, a move that displaced Mufti. When BJP returned to power, Ajit Doval was sent to Kashmir multiple times. He developed a close friendship with Mufti through multiple meetings. After some time, Mufti rejected Congress' long-term plan and left to join Jan Morcha, where he was offered cabinet post. Later, he resigned and formed the PDP, People's Democratic Party, an act that changed Kashmir's political equation and deeply unseated Congress. Former IB and RAW officials have mentioned in their books that Ajit Doval was the mastermind behind this and responsible for the formation of PDP. While this was happening in Kashmir, on the other hand, IB had to choose a new director. Since the current one's tenure was ending, it was certain that Ajit Doval would become the new director as per seniority, but on 31st July 2004, when the Congress government came to power, they reduced the 2-year tenure to just 8 months for Doval. Later in 2005, Ajit Doval retired. His successor, ESL Narasimha, was given the full 2-year term, unlike Doval. This led to accusations that Congress intentionally cut short Doval's tenure. But even after retirement, Doval remained deeply involved in India's internal security and began working independently with intelligence agencies. In the same year, 2005, Dawood Ibrahim's daughter Mahrukh was getting married to Pakistani cricketer Javed Mirdad, son Junaid, on 9 July in Mecca, with the reception planned on 23rd July in Grand Hyatt, Dubai. Ajit Doval learned that Dawood Ibrahim was expected to attend this high-profile event. It was a golden opportunity to confirm Dawood's location. But any failed operation would have severely damaged India's global image, so India avoided any direct commando mission. Ajit Doval then devised a plan. He reached out to Dawood's enemy Chhota Rajan, who was once a member of Dawood's gang but later turned foe, especially after Dawood orchestrated an attack on him in Bangkok. Using his network, Doval contacted Chhota Rajan and convinced him that together they could eliminate Dawood. Chhota Rajan agreed and sent 2 shooters, Vicky Malhotra and Farid Tanasha, to India. Ajit Doval trained them and in a secret location in India, arranged fake passports, Dubai tickets and all logistics. In a very short time, one issue remained. Mumbai police was already trying to arrest Vicky and Farid, and some senior officers had found out about Doval's operation. Some even claim Dawood himself tripped off the Mumbai police to neutralize the threat. Before sending the shooters to Dubai, Doval gave them final briefing at Delhi hotel, explaining hotel layouts, entry methods, building structures, and the plan to assassinate Dawood.